One of the things that I love so much about travel is the way that it your changes your brain, changes your mind, changes the way that you think about things, the way that you look at the world. It takes a lot of the everyday and mundane things that we take for granted and just makes us look at them differently. I remember someone once saying, I think it was about the show Seinfeld, how Um, it's funny because it looks at all these mundane everyday things that we go through and just pokes fun at them, kind of. Um, and I think that travel, not necessarily the poking fun part or the comedy part, but it just everything looks different. Or you take something that has been a part of your life your whole life and you just look at it from an entirely different angle. Specifically today, I was thinking about on my walk, transportation and public transport. Because the place that I go for my walk it used to be train tracks. They ripped out the train years ago and it's now a bike path, walking path, and I wish it was a train. Frankly, I would use it a lot. It'd be amazing to just be able to pop down couple blocks, and then hop the train and then go. Um, and I don't have a car here in Ecuador. And my relationship to cars has changed drastically since I left the States in 2018. Growing up in the States, I always had a car ever since I got my license. That was one of the things you saved up for. You had a job in high school, and it was like saving to buy a car, secondhand, used cars, old cars, like whatever car. But I've always, since I could drive during my life in the States, had a vehicle. In the States, it's so spread out and it is very convenient to have a vehicle. So the first time in my life that I didn't have a car was when I moved to Colombia. Or second time, technically, I should say. I did study abroad in Spain back when I was in college. And so that was the first taste of it. But recently, as a grown adult, because I was what, like 21 when I went to Spain, just a baby. Um, The first time I lived in a place without a car was Medellin, Colombia, and it opened my eyes to good and bad public transport because I was someone who'd never used it a lot before. Medellin has a fantastic public transport system. It ruined me for other cities. I was like, "This is fantastic." I felt like, it was the first place I lived without a car. I'm like, "I can get anywhere." They have not only the metro lines that connect the city, but then they have these, cable cars that go up and connect you to the tops of the mountain because Medellin the city is down in a valley, and, it was incredibly freeing to have just public transport, at my fingertips, and it made me reevaluate, life with a car. It made me realize that, yes, it's convenient, but yes, there are so many headaches. Um, the maintenance and parking. Parking is a huge one. I remember once visiting someone in San Francisco and ugh, I think I spent 45 minutes going in circles around the block looking for a parking spot. I don't miss that. I don't miss having to figure out, okay, where's the nearest parking to the place that I'm going to. I don't miss figuring out, okay, I want to go to this thing and I want to drink, but I'm driving. Like, it made me completely reevaluate all of the drinking and driving that happens in the States. Like, holy cow. It's wild. And while I was in it, I didn't see it. But then from the outside, it's like, okay, that's not okay. Yeah, we did it because everybody did it, but that's not okay. If we had great public transportation systems, which some cities do, but many in the States do not, we wouldn't have to do this. This is insane. But, yeah, I don't miss the parking, I don't miss the oil changes, I don't miss the maintenance, I don't miss going out and, the car won't start because my battery's dead, things like that. Like, there's just it's I will have a car again, I know at some point, so I'll have all those things again, but I've enjoyed this time in the middle without that, and I just think there's so many benefits that have come from it for me. Learning how to take public transport, learning how to put together an itinerary of like where I want to go and how I'm going to get there. Um, Being able to string together, without the convenience of a car, I do feel like I plan my errands better. Right now, I'm living outside of Quito, and it's about a 20-minute taxi ride, no big deal. But if I'm it's like the olden days, right? I'm going to town. Anybody need anything? I'm going in my wagon. Um, I plan my day. The other day I had to go to the dentist, so anything that I needed done in Quito got done. I put together, okay, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go there and do that and do this. And when I used to have a car, I don't feel like I did that as much. I would just like run out and do the thing, come back and run out and do the thing. Now I know there are people that plan better than I do. That's how my brain worked. So I like the calm of not having a car. It makes me think about it more. Okay, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that. And I've just been amazed at how I feel like I have more access. I get around everywhere I need to go, and I'm spending less than I was on a car payment and on gas and insurance because taxis here are very cheap. Public transportation is very cheap. Also, just my good old feet. I walk more. I walk more everywhere in the world than I do when I'm in North America. I just it's just incredible how it becomes a part of life to just go out and do things by walking. And also, there's interesting things to look at. I was talking to a friend the other day. He's back in the States right now, and he texted me and he's just like, "It's so boring here. I hate walking around the block." And it's like, yes, once you've lived in other countries with this beautiful architecture and these beautiful things and there's like interesting things going on, going back to suburban states can be really jarring and really like it's different. And I remember in Canada last year as well, it was so funny because I didn't have a car for the first couple of weeks that I lived there, but that wasn't gonna stop me. I needed groceries, I needed to go and do stuff, I needed to check out the neighborhood and see what it was, so I went and walked different places, and I was really lucky at the place that I lived. I was living in Cambridge, Ontario, and there was there used to be there was like a main street before, and so it was only about 15 minutes walk from my house, so within 15 minutes of my house this is not normal in the States, but there was a library, there was a couple of pubs, there was, like, all kinds of stuff just on the main street, and it was funny because talking to different people, they were floored, like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear Michonne? She walked all the way up to wherever," and it was just like, well, yeah, I needed to get there, and I looked at the Google Maps, and the bus, walking to the bus was gonna take, you know, 20-minute walk to the bus stop, and then wait for the bus, and then the bus was gonna stop so many times, and the whole trip was gonna take an hour. I could just walk there in 45 minutes, I just walk. But it's interesting how different cultures view that in this and me too, when I was in the States, if somebody's like, "Hey, do you wanna walk to this go to this thing, it's only 30 minutes," I'd be like, "Why would we walk? We have a car." Whereas now I'm like, "Why would we take the car? It's only a 30-minute walk." So it's interesting, but that's just one example, like, travel has done that for me in so many different ways, and I really do need to sit down and make a coherent list and maybe talk about those in subsequent videos. But for me on my walk this morning, it just really hit the public transport and my relationship to it has changed so much. And it hasn't always been easy. There have definitely been times when I wanted to get a bus, but I was too scared to get the bus because I didn't know how the bus worked. And then having a friend show me, it's like, oh, okay, thank you. Now I know how the bus works. But because it's in different countries, right? And sometimes you can't speak your language, and you're like, do I need to have anxiety training? Are they going to yell at me? I don't know what's happening. Basically, I have a lot of anxiety. But yeah, it's been it's wonderful to sit in these videos and to talk and share and also look back at how far I've come over the last, you know, 8 years. From going from scared of everything and stressed out all the time to scared less and stressed less and having new experiences, having things change me. I do think I'm gonna have a car again really soon. That's gonna be another chapter of my life. But it's been glorious to not have one as well.